What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary 41 with my sponsor, Steel Supplements, link and discount code down in the description. Also, I'm a Weeble preferred influencer, best promotion in their pen comment. All you have to do, click the link, go open an account. They're going to give you free stock. If you deposit a single dollar, they're going to give you more free stock. If you follow my channel long enough, you know. Also, pretty big collector of sports memorabilia, sports cards. Matter of fact, on my community page, I mentioned one of the stalwarts in the TTM community, through the mail autographs on YouTube, Chris Cards, losing his father. Also, very much looking at the prospect of losing a pet. Asked you to go support his channel, leave a like, subscribe, just watch a video. So, it's amazing to me how sports can connect people, right? How sports can impact your life in a variety of ways. And just a quick preface before we get into this. Been prepping a lot of cards to send out. I was prepping cards to Brandon Stokely. Brandon Stokely, a receiver that I really enjoyed watching play, not only because he started his career with the Baltimore Ravens, my local team. So I also remember when Brandon went to the Colts, and I was excited because here's a player, really one of the first players I could ever remember, was one of my favorites, coming from a team that I got to go watch, and then was going to my favorite team. LaRon Landry was another example of that. Washington Redskin. I got to see him play on the Redskins. Then he went to go be on the Colts. It's pretty cool, you know. Sometimes your team gets players that you don't really know all that well. Sometimes they get players that, you don't really care for, like when the Colts got Phillip Rivers. But there's also those rare times where, you've got a player that you really like, and then all of a sudden they end up on your team, and it's kind of exciting. So, prepping some cards to send out to Brandon Stokely, and I said, got a lot of great memories with Brandon Stokely. Those Colts teams in 2004, 2005, those are some of my favorite teams of all time. I can almost go through, I probably can, the full roster with you. Not just the starters, but the roster. But, you've got your Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, of course, Reggie Wayne was there, Dallas Clark, Brandon Stokely. They were a great receiving team, and they had some incredible games. First time I ever really made a donation to, a large donation to an auction, was to get Brandon Stokely's throwback uniform from the Thanksgiving game where they played the, obviously, Lions. I believe he had 3 touchdowns in that game. So sports are important to me. So when I sit down and I watch, I'm trying to look at some Brandon Stokely highlights, go through some memories. This Madden 11, of all the things, right, the way sports bring things together, Madden 11 promo comes up. When you look at this and listen to this, because I'm going to share it with you. I don't care if they unmonetize this video. I want you to understand that, we're 10 years beyond this, and this is the same thing that they're trying to do. So this is Peter Moore and Gus Johnson discussing this catch. I'm going to let you listen to them, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to have a pretty in-depth talk about this.
I don't know if you remember, it was Broncos and, Broncos and Cincinnati Bengals. Stokely picks it off. Instead of going in the end zone, hangs a right, keeps going because he knows he's got the clock counting down, staying in bounds as long as possible before he finally goes. Did you read what he said? He said, I learned that in Madden, running the clock down.
Okay, so understand, this is another situation of EA Sports selling you a moment, okay? This is no different than when they show Odell Beckham's catch, when they show David Tyree's catch, when they show Pat Mahomes flying through the air. They're selling you one moment, right? This just happened to be a deflection catch that Brandon Stokely made. It's a moment in a season for one team in one game. It doesn't impact everyone. If you watch every single game and you're not watching highlight football, in the scheme of things, you might not even care about this one play. But they were using this as a selling point to bring Gus Johnson in, who's a great commentator. I love the passion, the enthusiasm. Maybe not so much when he covers MMA or attempted to cover MMA, but as I said, he was a local broadcaster here. I have all the respect in the world for him. Wish that we could have in Madden multiple commentary teams. All this data, by the way, is still there. There's nothing stopping them from putting it back in the game, just like they did mini camps. So when you look at things like this, understand what they're doing. They're taking one moment of one play, and they're using it to leverage to you. Look at how realistic our game is. Look at what we've done. But they can never leave it at that. In this example, this blows my mind. Understand, professional athlete, you dedicate your life to the sport. Brandon Stokely was the best football player at his high school. He went on to be the best football player in his county. Then the best football player in his state. Then he went to be one of the best football players in the nation at his college. Then he goes on to be one of the best football players in the world and plays in the National Football League. That is the respect and lineage you give to NFL starters. So when you think of this and say Brandon Stokely had how many coaches, how many peers, how many players in his life? Peyton Manning, Hall of Famer. But they don't want you to think about that. They want you to think that in a moment, in a play, Brandon Stokely didn't think about all those things. You know what he thought about? He thought about video game. He thought about Madden. And that is what helped him understand how to play the real game. When you come on my channel and you say it's just a video game, you're right, it's just a video game, but they've been selling that game like this for over 10 years. To them, it's not a video game. To them, it's the pinnacle of sports simulation. And when you think about it that way, it should change how you view the game. Because when you sit there and say, well, no game is going to be perfect, of course, we're talking about a play that was broken in an actual game, right? There's going to be things that happen, but EA fails to give us those unique moments year in and year out. And no one's asking for a perfect game, but we're being sold a game that goes hand in hand with players using it to educate themselves on how to actually play football. It's a tall task. You don't see NBA 2K. You don't see MLB The Show coming out and saying, hey, players use our game as a training tool. Players use our game as a resource for how to play the game. You know what you do see those games doing, though? Implementing different broadcasts for local and national feeds. Implementing different broadcast teams for local or national games. You know what you don't see? EA Sports doing that. You know, EA Sports is constantly all of the promotion, all of the pizzazz, all of the sizzle, but very little on the delivery side of things. When it comes time to get a game in our hands, we really don't get a game that meets these expectations. And when you can go back and you can look at 10 years of what I would say is deceitful marketing, what I would say is over-glorifying their product, what I would say is selling a game that they knew would not be able to be delivered. There's a real issue there. You know, if EA really wanted to shut my mouth, they could start by making a quality football game. But instead, they've proven time and time they want my channel to be the most successful in our community because they are willing to give me the most content opportunities with their poor excuse for a football game. And I couldn't help but laugh a little bit when I'm just going back, trying to enjoy my night, look at some Brandon Stokely highlights from seasons past, and I'm reminded by just how bad this game has been and will continue to be. And you know, when this game is so bad that I can't even search a player's name before I send out an autograph request and not see how broken this game has been marketed, there is no way that I will not be back in the week with more commentary.